Okay, hi everyone. So I wanted to make this video in the idea of the 20 buff rule. So I'm gonna have to title it something like 20 buffs, so more creative than that. But anyway, the point of this is that you're only allowed to have 20 buffs max, and most of you probably already know this, but as a chanter, at the very least, that can be a real pain because we have so many like passive buffs running already. And we pop our active buffs, or when it just like pushes more buffs that appear here and here and here until they start like maxing out at the very end and then pushing off whatever's in front. So I just wanted to talk about real quick like what I prefer to use, because I hate it when I lose buffs and I think it's like really detrimental. So we're going to start off with food because that's pretty simple. If you notice in my videos I never use like drink because I don't think it's beneficial to use a drink in terms of the buff spot it takes up as for what you get from it. So I only always use food. Like drink, no, and you're missing out on like some natural healing or mana or whatever, I don't even know. But it's honestly, like in my opinion, just not worth it. That brings us to the next point I wanted to make, and that is elemental scrolls. I only pop these if I run into like a class that I need them for, like fire if I see a sorcerer, wind if I see a cleric. I might even try to get a wind off if I see it, or I'm fighting a sword. Usually not though. And, oh, can I get back on top of this thing? It's very weird. No, I cannot. Okay, well, I lost my, oh, there we go. What was I saying? Okay. So I also run around with usually a morph candy of some kind. If not, I have my magic resist ring on. So that puts me at 13 buffs default. By the way, I like to look at this window and not the one, like, the one that appears for you if you target yourself or someone else. And not like the default window because you have some buffs here that don't actually count towards the limit. Anyway, if I'm in combat, like typically I'm going to have Ward of Revival running on me, so if you imagine my candy or ring, I'll have 14. Then I might pop, a pot, that's 15. I might heal myself, 16. I might pop an Absorb Scroll at some point. That'll go out eventually, but that's 17 technically. And if I actually go pop my buffs, that puts me up at the max you can have with Protective Ward is 19 if you include the the morph and the ring. The problem is though, you'll usually have something else like a scroll on top of it, or you might have I don't know, like an allies buff of some kind. If you use Etheric Field or the Elios version of it, that I spell stopping, there we go, and quickness, you'll actually max with the 20 if you're using the morph candy, like I said. So what I'm basically saying is that you have to really judge, because when it comes to buffs like Focus Parry, for example, I honestly think this is really useless in most situations, and I don't really agree with the chanters when I see them pop it. The only exception would be a magic resist like Gladiator with Berserking, who's got really low accuracy because they have none socketed. That's the only thing I can think of that this would be kind of useful again. Even then, like I don't know about you guys, but I'll have 2200 if I use this hood. It's like 2300 parry. It's like, it's okay. It's not gonna do anything though. So I really try to stay away from Focus Parry. Like Chanter v Chanter, useless. Sin, useless. Ranger, useless. Templar, really useless. Like, no, I wouldn't pop it. And I really recommend against popping it at all anymore. I just keep it there for the novelty, I guess. What else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the remove shock's also count as buff, so I mean, you remove shock, you've like maxed out with 19, 20, it's gonna start pushing off buffs. And it's really, really annoying. Ways to like avoid it, obviously, is not to, like I said, run around without using elemental scrolls because you don't always need them. And if you do run like the situation, or if you do like to use them beforehand, then just be aware that you're probably gonna lose some buffs. And it's really bad because your candy will typically get pushed to the very top left. Because if you die, you'll lose all your buffs, you buff, and it'll stay in the very top left. And next time you max out buffs, it's going to get pushed off, and you just wasted a candy. It's really annoying. I hate doing that. I do that pretty often. I've gotten better about it though. And another thing, I guess, is you could use the single tick pots instead of the ticking ones, but I like the ticking ones a lot because they give like a little bit more. Other than that, well, mana treatment also counts, but you don't use that in combat, so it doesn't really matter. Just run around Rancor, it's a pretty decent time right now, yeah. Legion mate who just died. He's a pregnant penguin. Is there anything else I can say about buffs? I don't think so. I think I've covered everything. Oh yeah, I've used DP especially, like, this is probably what kills it for me usually. If I've used DP and I have like a bunch of other buffs running, it'll probably push something off. So I mean, if I really recommend, like, if you're actively aware of this, you don't, and you buff yourself, like, put things that are, you're more willing to lose at the start. How do I describe doing that? I guess if I pop this, oh, it goes to the back, crap. Well, if you had no scrolls, I guess you'd be like, actually, I don't know. Just remember, losing buffs is bad. I don't know how you can, like, save the right buffs, but it's really bad, so yeah. Just keep those things in mind, guys. Anyway, that's it's kind of a weird video because I just wanted to explain, but I don't know. I think it's useful in some sense. So, yep. I forget to mention one thing. You're probably not going to run into that situation too often where you have too many buffs because typically you won't pop everything at the same time. You know, you might pop Blessing of Wind, Unstoppable, but not have to pop like Protective, etc. However, those situations do like arise at points in time, so it's good to keep like actively thinking about it. I mean, it's another thing to think about in PvP, but hey, keeps the brain going, I guess. It's just like, you know, buffs check, PvP, like, you know, do I need to do this or that or this or that. Just keeping your mind like focused on thinking is good, I guess. So yeah, now I think I'm good in terms of the video.